All right. Hello, everyone. It's me again. Okay. Again, I hope that everyone's safe and in good health. So, as of right now, I'm just going to give it about 2 minutes in case anyone else needs to join, and I'll be right on. So, I'm just going to give it 2 minutes. If you're here, if someone could please, once again, test my live chat box, send me an appropriate message, hello, or an emoji or something, so I can ensure that my live chat component is operative. Okay. Again, I'm just going to wait just an additional minute. Hey, Asiata. Okay, great. I'm glad that it's working. Let me actually test out if I can respond. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, just give it about 20 more seconds and I will begin. Okay, so welcome. This is the mini research project clarification / direction presentation. I'm going to go ahead and go over. Thank you, Asiata. I'm going to go ahead and go over the actual project. And again, if you have any questions or yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them and I'll address them as fast as I can. This should be a lot less, excuse me, complex than the Native Son mock trial project. So this session shouldn't be too long, prayerfully. All right. So, one, create and attach a free Prezi or e-maze presentation based on the social issue selected and approved research question about it. Please ensure you incorporate a personal animation or podcast or video performance or YouTube video or TED Talk that pertains to your presentation. Okay. So, excuse me. To begin with, hey, Mariette. Thank you. I tried, Mariette, since we're going to put this on live. But thank you. Thank you, gorgeous. Okay. So I have attached the Prezi.com and or emaze.com. Okay. Those are the actual platforms I prefer that you use. Okay. If you find a different platform that's pretty engaging or cool, that's fine with me, but we're not trying to use Google Slides, okay? We're trying to use a more collegiate and engaging platform, okay? Also, welcome to iMovies, okay? Anything but Google Slides, please, all right? Excuse me. So everyone, I have approved your topic or have given you an approved research question or approved your research question, okay? Additionally, you can incorporate any of those attachments like animation, a podcast, and so forth, or the other options I mentioned. I'm not going to put any rules on it. Okay, I'm going to allow for you to self-govern yourself. I want you to be creative. Okay, but just know that I expect to see that within your presentation. Okay, all right. Any questions on step one? Okay. So then, step number two. Create a mini outline that complements your presentation and incorporates the evidence you have found. Okay, so you all did a very extensive outline at the beginning of the school year, excuse me, in reference to Black Cat. How do we incorporate a podcast? Okay, so maybe you'll go ahead and let's say that you will take a video, have a video recording yourself, or actually do an audio recording of whatever you're going to discuss in reference to your social issue. Once you download it, you can go ahead and email it to yourself, and Prezi should be able to allow for you to upload it. If Prezi doesn't allow for you to upload it on their application, or emails doesn't allow for you to upload it on their application, you can always just upload it separately. Does that answer your question, Asiata? Okay, let's keep it appropriate. So let's move on. Okay, so the outline. Page requirements, 2 to 4 pages, okay? So there's a minimum of 2 pages within the outline, okay? This does not include the works cited page, all right? So 2 to 4 pages within the outline. You should, so additionally, you need to have a works cited page. And everyone understands that a works cited page is basically a list of your sources in MLA format, all right? And I will go back and attach an exemplar of it. Going back here to the sidebar, do we just read the entire outline for the podcast? No, that's a great question. I do not want for you to read your outline for the podcast, okay? I want for you to go ahead and just demonstrate some type of creativity. For example, there's an actual show called The Breakfast Club. That's a podcast, okay? They have their discussions with where they interview other people, or like such as celebrities or politicians in regards to an array of social issues that they discuss. So your podcast, you can have free range, but no, I do not want for you to read your outline at all. I don't. That's a good question. Does that answer your question, Asiata? Okay, I'm moving forward. So your outline has to be a minimum of 2 pages, a maximum of 4, okay? And then you also have to have a works cited page. Okay, again, the page requirements does not require, the page requirements does not include the works cited page as your second page, okay? So I should at least see altogether 3 pages or more, okay? You also have to have your outline typed in MLA style and double space, okay, which you all know how to do that, okay? If not, you can go back and reference the Black Cat presentation, and it shows you how it's done. 12-point font times New Roman, and you have to have a cover page with an interesting title. The cover page has already been attached. You just have to modify it. Okay, and you have to ensure that your outline includes a breakdown of the following areas. Okay, Roman numeral 1, research question. Roman numeral 2, purpose. Roman numeral 3, evidence, and Roman numeral 5, conclusion. Okay. All right. So basically, underneath of those items, it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get to the evidence piece, okay, that's pretty much the you should have pulled evidence from each of the 6 sources that I approved. All right, that's what you should have done. All right, so pull out the evidence, and not only pull out the evidence, but ensure within your outline that you provide an explanation of what the evidence is trying to say. Okay, so as long as you have that, you'll be fine. And then number 5, where it says future implications or solutions, basically, usually when we do research, okay, in the collegiate world, we always have either ideas to solve, ideas to solve a problem, or ideas that imply that we need to do something. Okay, for example, my thesis was on textbooks, okay, and basically how they need to be more diversified. Okay, and after I did all my research, I realized a great idea or future implication was that we need to actually within all societies. We need to actually within all the states re-examine our textbook committees and ensure that they are more diverse. And we also need to take further action to ensure that people of color in different social economic statuses, education, and sexual orientations, their backgrounds, that we have diversity within authorship of the textbook. Okay, so basically that's just basically what are the future implications or solutions that you have within it. Okay. Any questions on that? I'll wait for a minute. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth. Right. Let's please keep it appropriate. Again, even if you make up an account, we can still track it to your computer. So it's not a good idea to perform issues like that. It has happened. So please, if that is you being rude, please stop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Okay, I said I have also attached an outline template for you to manipulate. So I've attached it. Okay, you may have to change it to ensure that it's double spaced. I'm not sure if it is or not. And I have attached an example of an actual outline, okay, that I actually produced in graduate school. It's an APA style, but it's just give you an idea of what you have to look forward to, okay? And basically, that outline was talking about the gender leg theory, and it co-aligns with my email's presentation on the gender leg theory, okay? It doesn't have to look like that at all. I mean, I'm just giving you an example of some ideas. Yours actually should look much cleaner than mine, okay? And it should just highlight, as long as it highlights each Roman numeral within your actual outline, you'll be fine, okay? Because the goal is for us, for each student to actually be able to share out their outline document with everyone. That was the goal, for you all to have it printed, and each person would, if we were to return back to school, if we are to return back to school, they were to actually disseminate their outlines in a tangible fashion via paper, okay? And then he or she would go up to the front and present their actual presentation on their social issue. That was the idea, okay? However, if we don't return back to school in an effort to present it, we'll either do it virtually if we're allowed to continue, or if not, then we'll do something else, okay? All right, any questions? Any further questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Could I recite a poem, Asiata? Yes, you can recite a poem. That is more. Yes, you can recite a poem. Yes. So again, creating a podcast. Again, you don't have to create. You could create a podcast. You could create a video performance, a YouTube video, a TED talk, an animation. Okay, that actually it just complements your presentation. So there's no rules. Like, for example, tell me what your topic is, Asiata. Can't remember off the top of my head, but what is your topic? Okay, it makes sense now. Okay, great. Well, like, for example, I know someone's topic is, okay, gender roles versus sex. Okay, so you may want to do a podcast where you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna perform spoken word on it. Okay, and talk about your opinion or your feelings on the issue. Okay, something creative. Again, yeah, if you want to do some type of dance or step performance, maybe you're protesting an issue or trying to generate awareness, maybe you try to create your own TikTok to address the issue. That's fine as well. Mm-hmm. No, the TED Talk is not mandatory. Again, you're not doing everyone is not going to do, hey Deja, again, a podcast, a video performance, a YouTube video, or a TED Talk, or a personal animation. Those are options. You have to do at least one of those, okay? And if you have something better that you can do, that in regards to presenting how you feel on a unique technological platform, then please advise me. Now, I will allow for you to do it, but you are to choose one of those, okay? Okay, you can create it. Okay, Deja. Okay, great questions, Deja. So you can either create a TED Talk, or you can either, yes, implement a TED Talk that you feel addresses your issue. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't, you can either put one in, but don't just throw in anything. So, oh, this is a TED Talk, and over here it's talking about animal, your topic is animal abuse, but in the TED Talk, it's talking about education discrepancies. Okay, that's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's fine if you put together a video using photos only. We would call that a storyboard. So maybe if you could help me out with adding some captions so I can get a better understanding of your storyboard, that would be great. No problem, Deja. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. Do we need to have something along those lines, or can we just do our normal presentation? Jordan, can you please elaborate? on your question? What was your question referencing? Because I know that you do have to have a Prezi presentation. Are you talking about the additional podcasts or TED Talk, things of that nature? I'll stay on the line. Okay. Anyone else while Jordan is consolidating or reframing his question? Again, I want for you all, while he's doing that, to take ownership of your work. I want for you to actually, this is something, everyone, I told you to pick a social issue that you were passionate about. Can you give us feedback on our outline? I can, but you need to do that preferably before the deadline. So if you want for me to look at it, then just email me and I will look at it, okay? That's not a problem. Back to Jordan. Yes. Do I need an animation or a TED Talk? Let me go back. Second is short. All right. No, it does not have to be an animation or a TED Talk, but I need to see a podcast, a video performance, or a YouTube video, something that's additional to complement your Prezi presentation, okay? And whatever you find or whatever you create can be embedded within the presentation, or if you cannot embed it within the Prezi or the emails presentation, you can just attach it separately, okay? But I need to see an additional technological platform, okay? We're trying to really support the T and P Tech and ensure that you all are possibly able to add this to your resumes. Okay, does that answer your question, Jordan? And Asiata, does that answer your question? If you email me, okay, while they are configuring their responses, does anyone else have any additional questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, great. Okay, I'm happy to hear that, Asiata. I'm happy to hear that. Anyone else? I'll wait for Jordan. I'll give it 3 minutes and then I will log off, okay? Does anyone have any additional questions about, even though this is not the video for the native son mock trial, does anyone have any additional questions about that? Again, I'll be logging off within the next 3 minutes if not. Okay, thank you, Deja, okay. Okay, Jordan, so what question do you have for the native son assignment? If I'm not mistaken, you are the journalist, correct? Thank you, Asiata. Okay, if you don't have any further questions on this assignment, you can go ahead and tune out. Right now, I'm just addressing additional questions about other assignments. Okay, thank you, Kamaya. Okay, so Jordan, you are a journalist, okay? And in your group, Lacey is the lead journalist. So Lacey should have, okay, yes, I can do that, Mariette, too, as well, okay? So I'm going to address Jordan first, then Mariette, too. So you are a journalist, Jordan. So Lacey should have shared the journalist document with you along with everyone else in group 5. That is the only document that you all will be working on, okay? So let me go back to the actual directions. Okay, and that is attached to the actual assessment. Okay, so if you actually are on there with me, Jordan, if you scroll down all the way to the end, okay, well, almost page 5. If you're on there, where it says journalist responsibilities, it states, you all should be working on the lead reporter's journalist document only. This is for your group, Jordan, that I'm talking about, okay? You all have to create open-ended questions that can be addressed to the Chicago Police Department. All right, so Lacey should have shared that document with you. Now you have to create questions that are open-ended. So when we're talking about open-ended questions, these questions cannot be they cannot be just simply answered via yes or no. These questions have to actually be answered in race format. Okay, you have to have an explanation, which is why we call it open-ended. When we're talking about closed-ended questions, that means you present a question that's like either yes or no question. For example, if I were to say, are Are you a fan of the baby? That's a closed-ended question, yes or no. Okay. Versus describe the evidence found in regards to accusing Bigger of murdering Mary Dalton. Okay. That's an open-ended question that you could ask the police department. Okay. So going back there, it says each journalist is mandated to type 10 questions. Remember, 10 open-ended questions that can be addressed to the Chicago Police Department. Please provide an answer for each question in race format. Use the novel to cite evidence. Okay. So when we're talking about race format, that was basically the actual writing strategy that we learned and we did extensively. Excuse my phone. Sorry. Second quarter. Okay. So sorry. All right. Second quarter. Okay. So basically you'll produce 10 open-ended questions. Okay. And then you'll actually go back and you'll answer those questions in race format. You'll use the book to actually support your response, to cite evidence to report your response. Okay. Hold on real quick, Jordan. Okay. So once you have finished that, okay, and the other journalists within your group have repeated that, you know, they've done the same thing. Everyone needs to review and practice questioning each other in an effort to prepare for the press conference. That's why you're doing this, okay? The press conference will be held after trials, all right? So you all will be the journalists, but the lead reporter, who in your case is Lacey, she will then all of a sudden flip the script and she'll be the chief police spokesperson. And all of you, all the other journalists will actually question Lacey during the press conference with the questions that you all have came up with. Lacey will not be allowed to read off of her actual document because she should have studied and reviewed the happenings of, she should have studied and reviewed the questions that you all created. Okay. And this will only be 5 minutes. And then for the next trial, when I say rotate, I'll pick someone else randomly. It could be you, Jordan, or it could be someone else within your group, okay, to actually be the chief police officer, because we'll have to have at least, you know, okay? All right. And back to your other question, Jordan, you're not a witness. That got confused. If you're a journalist, you're strictly a journalist. You're not a lawyer. You're not a witness, and you're not a clerk. You're strictly a journalist, okay? So you don't have anything to do with those documents. Does that answer your question, Jordan? Asiata, for the lawyers, do we have to do all the questions? There's 57 lines for questions. Do we have to fill all of them? Okay, that's a good question. No, the lawyer's document, okay, is a document that's being shared. You should share it with the witnesses, okay? So if you actually go to the directions, okay, if you look underneath of the lawyer's responsibilities, the only sections that you need to complete are the opposing party's witness section underneath the direct examination of witnesses, and the predetermined closed-ended questions per defense witness section underneath the cross-examination of witnesses. So for the first component, underneath of the opposing party's witnesses section, basically, if you actually go back to that document, the lawyer's document, and I'm going to go to that now so I can ensure that we're following this appropriately. Okay, one moment, please, Ebony. I haven't forgotten you. Okay. So, Asiata, if you're looking at the document and you see the opposing parties' witnesses highlighted in lime green, okay, you should see that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the spreadsheet as well. Okay, you definitely need to open up the spreadsheet where it lists everyone's roles. Give me a second, please. Yeah. One second, please. Okay, so Asiata, you should have the lawyer's document up, excuse me, and you should have the actual spreadsheet up titled Miss Winter's class or group individual assignment sheet. All right, one moment, Jordan, Ebony, and then Jordan. Okay, so all right, so if you look at the spreadsheet, I got it. Okay, thank you. If you look at the spreadsheet, Asiata, you are in group 1. You are going against group 2. Okay, so if you notice, you'll see that Jada, Angel, and Chloe, those are the witnesses from the opposing party, meaning people from the defense team, those who you're going against. So what you need to do for the opposing witnesses section, okay, you need to go ahead and fill in, for example, witness number 1, if you look at the spreadsheet, would be on the opposing side is Jada. So you're right, Jada hyphen Bessie, okay? And then what you would do after that is you would actually complete the question stem that will be directed to Jada as Bessie. So you may ask her, who were you with the night of Mary's? Who are you with the night that the Daltons discovered that Mary was murdered? Okay. You might say, when did you consider yourself Bigger's girlfriend? Okay, I'm just giving you random questions. Okay, you'll just go ahead, you'll just complete the question stem right there for that one. And then for witness number 2, you'll do the same thing for Angel. Okay, then for witness number 3, you'll do the same thing for Chloe. Okay. So that's a great question. Because this is a trial for Mary Dalton, okay, then we're able to use Bessie for Mary because your group is assigned Mary Dalton's trial. Okay. But if you're in groups 3 or 4, you're not able to use Bessie because that's her trial. She's dead. Hope that makes sense. Okay. I'm almost there, Jordan. So then the second part of being the lawyer, Asiata, that you have to do is complete the predetermined closed-ended questions per defense witnesses underneath the cross-examination of witnesses. So you'll go ahead on that document. Where's the document? One moment, please. Okay, you'll scroll down to the segment that says cross-examination of witnesses. And again, you'll fill in each of those witnesses' names who are on the opposing party side. Okay, so fill in the witnesses that you're going against. You'll put their name and their role, and then you'll ask them questions that can only be simply answered via a yes or a no. And that's all that you have to do as the lawyer, typing wise. Okay, other than that, you're just there as a support system. Jordan, so what are you asking questions based on? That's for you to be creative with. Think about it. What type of questions would you ask the chief police department? For example, like, and I'm not trying to get to other situations, but we've had situations in our county where, issues have happened, and the Prince George's the Prince George's Police Department has had to get up and speak with our superintendent about certain issues, and the media asks them certain questions about that issue. Okay, so just become creative. You're asking questions that basically circulate around the murder of Mary or the murder of Bessie, if that makes sense. Ebony, thank you for your patience. For the clerk, we just work on the document that the lawyer shared with us. Yes, absolutely, Ebony. So work on the opening statement document, but the closing statement document, you're not going to be able to work on that until later because we haven't conducted trial. Okay, so Jordan, Asiata, and Ebony. So can I make up the answers too? Okay, that's a good question. Jordan, you do have to formulate an answer. You have to answer the question. That way you can go ahead and be prepared to study them. Yes, but remember, you have to go ahead and perform race for each of those questions. So you have to go back for your answer. Make sure that you restate the question that you created, answer it, go back to the novel, find evidence or citation that supports your response, and then explain how it reports your response, how it not reports, how it supports your response, and then last but not least, add a closing sentence to sum up what you were talking about. Okay, does that make sense, Jordan? And I'm still waiting on a response from Asiata and Ebony to see if you all actually understand. If not, if I don't hear a response within the next 2 minutes, I'm going to log off. Again, Jordan, Asiata, and Ebony. Okay. I'm glad you understand that part. Great. Okay. Do I use the documents under the Native Son Mock Trial Project documents, or is that just for the lawyer? Okay. So let me go and look at the spreadsheet. Ebony, Courtney, you're gonna be working on the opening statement. Okay, it's the defendant opening statement, but it's gonna be off of Courtney's document. So don't use any of your own documents. Okay. So Courtney should have shared that document with you. Okay. It's called the defendant's opening statement document. Okay. So you should be working on that. But she also should have shared with you additionally the closing statement PowerPoint presentation. However, that's not going to be due on the 28th because we actually have to go through a trial prior to that being done. Okay, so you'll do it, but you'll do it later, so you won't be penalized. Okay, great. I'm glad that you understand, Asiata, and great, Jordan. No problem. Any other questions? Ebony, what should be included in my opening statement? I'm introducing the trial and why Bigger is guilty. So let me go ahead and pull up that document real quick so I can be with you. So if you were to go underneath of, okay, so one moment, please, Ebony. Okay, so you should be on Courtney's document titled Defendant's Opening Statement. Okay, and I need for you to also go where it says Native Son Mock Trial Directions. Can you please let me know once you click on that, please? Let me know, Ebony, when you're there, when you click on the Native Son Mock Trial Directions that is attached underneath of the Native Son Mock Trial assignment. Okay, so I want for you to go ahead and scroll down to where it says Clerk Responsibilities. It's going to start on page 4. Are you there? Let me know when you have scrolled down. Okay, great. Excuse me. Okay. So it says on the opening statement document, it gives you instructions on how to do each component. Okay. So the attention getter. All right. So before you've done all this, Ebony, okay, one moment, please. You are in group 2. Okay. So Ebony, have you read Mary Doughton's case brief? Do you have that up? Because that's the actual case brief that you're working on. Is waiting for a response from Ebony. Okay, yes. Okay, great. Okay, so you should have read that. Okay, so basically, I need for you, based off of the case, to cite a powerful quote about justice that foreshadows your case. So give me a second. I'm going to go and click on the case brief so I can be with you on that. Okay. Excuse me. So as the defendant, okay, on your side, the defendants believe that there is enough evidence that supports that Bigger is a victim within the circumstances of naturally having to murder Mary. Defendants claim that Bigger murdered Mary on the basis of naturalism. The defendants believe natural causes contributed to his accusation, believe he should not be sentenced to the death penalty, but rather an alternative consequence that allows him to live. Okay, so what you may, Ebony, want to find is a quote that talks about justice in regards to your claim there, or a quote that talks about naturalism. It could be any quote, but it has to pertain to justice. Okay, so that's how you do the attention getter. The descriptive synopsis. Okay, basically you are retyping the case brief. The case brief has been screenshotted, and I want for you to go back and actually retype the case brief and add any modifications. Okay, the case brief is just basically summing up what's going on within the entire case. So basically, you're just retyping that component there and adding on or subtracting any information you feel is unnecessary. Okay, or you can keep it the same. That's fine. Counter argumentative facts. Cite and list 5 facts that the opposing party may use against you. Okay, so again, you want to have 5 pieces of evidence. Yes, your group is, Ebony, your group is trying to defend that Bigger's actions are justified and that he deserves, are justified on the basis of naturalism, and that he actually deserves an alternative consequence other than the death penalty. Okay, not the death penalty. Okay, so back to the actual counter argumentative facts. Okay, so cite and list 5 facts that, if we look back here on the spreadsheet, 5 facts that Asiata's group may use against you. Okay, what are 5 facts that she may use against you? Okay, so you'll write that down. Okay, and cite the information where you received it from. And then back to the document. If you look back at the directions again, one moment, please. Key points. List 3 points that you find pertinent towards discussing and reference to attempting to win your claim. Okay, so what are 3 important points what are 3 key points that support your stance? Okay, so you'll list those. And then last but not least, an impactful thesis statement. Type an impactful thesis statement that incorporates those 3 key points that you just listed right before then. Okay, so that supports your claim upon upon naturalism being upon Bigger's murder being justified by the theory of naturalism. Okay, as well as why he does not deserve the death penalty, but an alternative consequence. Okay, does that make sense, Ebony? Okay, great. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Excuse me. Anyone else? Anyone else? Again, I'll give it 2 minutes before I log off. You can ask a question about anything. Everyone understands that you have to watch the movie and write a summary based on the questions within the packet. Okay. And there's no vocabulary.com or no red ink, common lit. None of that's going on right now. Within the next 2 minutes, I will be logging off if no one has a question. All right. I don't think anyone else has a question. Let me wait. I say I'll wait 2 minutes. Let me be patient. Does anyone have a question or need further clarification? Okay. Is there anyone that you would like me to email? Again, the hotline number is online. I'm not going to say it on here because this is a live platform and I don't want everyone to be able to contact me in the world. Okay, we have 30 seconds before I leave off of this platform. All right. All right, no problem. Okay, you're welcome, Deja. Okay, thank you so much. We may have another. I'll put a poll. No time soon. I'll check in on you all. But as always, you have my number, you have my email, and that's about it. We have this platform. So thank you, and have a beautiful day, and stay safe and healthy.